everyone, it's Eric with His&Hers HHQ. And I say morning even though it's dark out because it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. Couple of quick things before we get to discussing the Wolfman here. So I want to say it was the beginning of the week that it was put out, but I just caught a video from Rusty Rotors, and he had a question on 3D printers and or 3D printed parts. I wanted to answer it just real quick. My personal opinion is I actually like 3D printers. At some point in time, sometime in the future, maybe a year or 5 years from now, I will have a 3D printer. Just because, you know, all the scratch building I do, it would come in, it would really be handy, especially with doing a lot of the detail stuff. Like Laser Creation World, the little things that latches or vents or satellite antennas, little things like that. They will be, it would be extraordinarily helpful for me in really focusing on the detail and really making my builds pop, especially the ones I'm doing like this. Which, by the way, I do have plans for more than just my Creatures of the Road series. I have bigger plans that I plan on sharing with all of you. And, something like that further on down the road would be extraordinarily helpful. As a matter of fact, I mean, it's kind of like those old 50s car commercials where, I wouldn't mind seeing a 3D printer in the hands of every modeler. It's not necessarily a bad thing for the model companies, but by that same token, it might help push them to push themselves with detail and stuff. But for the basic modeler, it being able to say, oh well, I need this particular distributor, or I need certain exhaust because I wanted my exhaust to look a certain way. They can come up with a list of what they want to do for a current build, do all the little doohickey stuff on the computer, and put it on a thumb drive, put it in the 3D printer, and bam, they've improved their build. And it's just one of those things I totally approve of. And as I said, one day I will have one. I hope. Anyway, so that's my answer to Rusty Rotors. And I mean, I know some of you may disagree, but that's, my personal opinion. And something was pointed out in a comment. My daughter brought it to my attention. She goes, oh, hey, you got 3 comments. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll get to being able to answer them when I can. And she goes, one of them I don't understand. And it was from a gentleman, David. And he goes, his comment is, you misspelt headquarters. So my daughter went over and looked, Facebook, it says headquarters. Okay. And then I read the comment, and I'm going, what is it? I wrote it on the dry erase board. It's going, this is how it's spelled. I don't get it. Well, then the two of us sat down and brought up my logo. Okay, so that was a mistake. We forgot an R. Thank you, David, for pointing that one out. My editors are going to work on correcting that. And I mean, honestly, if you look at it now, it looks kind of like you're somewhere in the tri-state area or up in New England. It's like headquarters, you know, something, you know, kind of like a yad. It's I don't know. It's funny. It's, you know, you got to laugh at it. I'm the ultimate approving authority of how things work. It's my bad. We're gonna fix it. Otherwise, yeah, I thank you for pointing that out. I can't believe we've gone since February 6th with that up. Anyway. So, on to the build. If you were paying attention, and this is going to be in the blooper video when we get it all together. If you were paying attention in the last video, I had the truck mocked up like this, kind of like this, and during the video, I was trying to point out the visor, and I couldn't find it anywhere in my work area. Like, what the heck? Well, if you have a keen eye, let's move the mock-up. The visor was sitting right here. I've watched my video twice, and there it was. It sticks out like a sore thumb. And it drives me nuts. Like, oh my God. So yeah, I mean, the only thing that was needed was like a great big flashing neon arrow pointing at it going, here, dummy, it's right here. Quit looking for it. But hey, you know, it is what it is. So, it doesn't seem like we got a lot of work done, but the seat, normal seat, I added a back, an actual back, sturdied up everything, got these seams cleaned up, and actually it's really nice now, actually. Real solid. Part of what's going on here, the reason why I got the seat back, is because even though this here is the original type bench seat, I'm going to add 2 little headrests on little metal posts. I'm going to add headrest. And it's going to be funny because even though the headrests are going to be painted, I spent quite a bit of time thinking about how I'm going to do the headrest. And you'll see why in a moment. I'm going to use googly eyes. They're going to be painted. You won't be able to tell, but, well, if you watch this video, you now know they are googly eyes, or going to be googly eyes. Okay, and so the back is extra or added support. Now, all that time in that last video, this is what I was talking about with the visor. Now, as you can see, this is actually pretty decent, pretty good fit. Most of the extra junk you see right here is going to be covered up when I get the milliput. And I've never actually worked with milliput, but I'm looking forward to this. Actually, I have a few pieces of test styrene I'm going to play around with, get rolling it out and making sure I've got that right. But anyway, so if you look at it, now it's got that really mean stance, that really mean look. And that's kind of what I really was looking forward to. As you can see in the back, there's a bit of armor. And yes, an armor plate. Let me see here. I added all this extra damage here, kind of like where the beast punched the armor. And as you can see, I don't know, let me see. I did this dent up here and gave it 4 individual lines as if it went like this. So, pardon me. So I've got the armor going on, I've got the look, I've got the roof attached, everything is really solid. The visor's in place. I really love the way that visor's looking. So yeah, I've even got the floor in place, and even though that looks kind of messed up, these bits here that you see from my sprue goo are actually hidden down here. So I'm not concerned with how it looks. Here, my concern was where these pin molds are. And where the pin marks are. That was my only issue. Not that I'm going to be turning the vehicle upside down to, show a whole lot, but you get the point. You want to clean that up a little bit. You don't want it to be obvious. I'm going to go with a stick shift. Obviously, I don't see me doing the double stick that the Model T has, but that's why the stick plate is, or hole there is still open. Anyway, so again, this is done, but I've pointed that out before. Believe it or not, this side popped off, like just clean popped off as if I didn't glue it. I'm trying to figure that one out, so I had to go and reassemble it. I have been working this part here. I had to smooth this out, smooth this part out to fit the engine. And as you can see, I modified it a little bit. And this is not completely cleaned up, obviously, but I added motor mounts. So it actually sits the way I want it to sit. Hold on, let me see here. So that's about what we're looking at when it goes in. And yes, I've got primer on the engine, but I wanted to get a sense, a feel of where we're at. And as you can see, I had to do a few minor modifications here. And I've decided that since I like the black engine, now the transmission will get the oily steel look. But since I like the black so much, and silver and werewolves don't mix, I decided I'm going with gold for the valve covers and for the top covers. So, I mean, once it's all assembled, it'll look pretty daggum sharp. I haven't gotten quite as much work done as I would like, but I did, spend a couple hours really working on this, trying to get the perfect look, or at least a good look. And then it took me a little while. I had to put in this bottom plate. I had to glue it first and then see where the gaps were because it didn't go together, and then fill in the gaps. And then after the sprue goo was dry, I had to go over and sand it a little bit and kind of smooth it all out. And of course I added the armor, you know, to protect the people in the cab. But anyway, so that's where we're at. Again, you know, that was my answer to Rusty Rotors, and thank you, David, for pointing that out. Had you not pointed it out, we probably would have gone with that for a very long time. So yeah, thank you. And let's see, of course, this is where we're at with the build. This is going to be obviously a shorter video. My voice is getting kind of raspy and harsh. I've been talking entirely too much today. So pardon that, but I appreciate everybody coming along and enjoying this. I don't know where we will be Sunday wise because, you know, life. I'm going to try and have the chassis completed, the rear end actually attached, and have primer on it. That is going to be my goal. But I do, like I said, I bounce. I spend a lot of time bouncing, and it's just one of those things I do. But I'm going to be getting this done, and hopefully the chassis will be primed and ready to go. I'll have the cab like the way I'm absolutely happy with it, so it's ready for prime. But I have been spending some extra time on the bed. As you can see, this here is a little bit further back than this side. So I've been trying to etch this back just a little bit further back and bring it down. I kind of like that curve. You know, I'm kind of really feeling that curve. That's really cool. So I think instead of boxing it off, I think I'm going to leave this curve. And I did spend a little while and actually cleaned up this spot here on both sides. Now I got to clean up this, the two front bits. And once that's situated, I will glue the bed in place. And once I have the bed in place, then I will finish getting the ears situated and then see where they're at and get those ready for mounting. But we're getting there. We're moving along. So anyway, I appreciate everybody coming along this journey, and you know, I can't thank you all enough. I'm Eric with His&Hers HHQ. If you haven't yet, follow us over on Facebook at His&Hers Hobby Headquarters. And as always, take a moment, like, subscribe, share the content, and yes, comment below. I will always reply. It may be 5 minutes after you post, or it may be 5 days, but I will get back to you. I do try to be as interactive as possible. Again, thank you all. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the great comments. And have a good day.